What an incredible weekend of soccer around the globe we just saw. Italy captured the European Championship in a thrilling penalty kick shootout with homestanding England, a team in its first major competition final in 55 years. Argentina completed its Copa America Championship with a 1-0 triumph over Brazil, giving Lionel Messi his first major championship. The United States' participation in the Gold Cup got underway in Kansas City on Sunday night with the red, white, and blue opening with a 1-0 victory over Haiti. And Sporting Kansas City's own Gianluca Busio made his U.S. men's national team debut in the game, and he played well. So it's against that backdrop we're talking today about the biggest prize in soccer, the World Cup. This is SportsBeat KC. I'm Blair Kirchhoff, and it's Monday, July 12th. On today's show, Sporting KC's Director of Marketing, Aaron Bournes, and Kansas City Sports Commission President and CEO, Kathy Nelson, take us inside Kansas City's World Cup bid. What's been submitted, where things stand, and how confident they feel about landing games when the World Cup comes to North America in 2026. As a reminder, there are 17 U.S. cities bidding for 10 or 11 spots. We're uncertain about the number for this reason. There are 3 cities in Mexico and Canada that have been identified as hosts, so they're not bidding. They've been guaranteed their spots, but one Canadian city, Montreal, pulled out of the running over financial considerations. So will a third Canadian city join Toronto and Edmonton, or could a U.S. city get that spot? It's looking like the first quarter of 2022 for the cities to be named. So on today's show, you'll hear from Aaron Bournes and Kathy Nelson, and then after a break, you will hear from Gianluca Busio. That interview was conducted on Friday. So let's get started.
I'm very confident. I think that we've not only done a great job of representing our city, but also representing our sort of confidence in our culture here. It's not just kind of what we're putting on paper. I feel like we've gotten very positive feedback, like Kathy said, to pretty much all the meetings that I've been involved with. And we know that we have a lot of things that people may consider to be negatives that are actually a positive thing. The fact that we are in the center of basically all of North America is something that most cities can't say. And I do think that the history of the sport and our city matters. I mean, you look back to the Women's World Cup watch parties. I mean, you've got basically the nation watching the tournament happening in Europe, but the fans were all in Kansas City. I mean, there's so many things historically that we have to lean on, which is what's most exciting to me. It isn't about just what's just happening in this moment. It's what we've done collectively as a community for years.
And that kind of overcomes market size?
I think it does. I mean, that's kind of what we're about, isn't it? I think we punch above our weight, and so you look at what our television ratings tend to be for international. I mean, for ourselves, for international soccer here. I mean, we always are very, very strong viewership market. I mean, there's a litany of reasons why, to me, I think that we are very much in the conversation. Seriously, I'm very confident. We've got work to do still, but very confident. Excited for FIFA to be here.
I think it surely helps that when you have competitions like the Gold Cup going on right now, and you have like that proven infrastructure able to hold a tournament like that, that's surely got to help your case, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think and I also, I think the fact that CONCACAF chose to have Gold Cup here because they knew that could happen and they could camp out 4 teams here for a week, and that we're already set up to do that, I think is a perfect example of that.
So, are there other like MLS cities anyway that have the training facility that you offer?
Yeah. Well, I would say, of course, I'm biased. I would say that ours is the best for certain. I mean, I think it's a real point of pride for Major League Soccer right now how much the growth of facilities, not just for stadiums but for training centers. Every year there are new additional teams opening additional facilities, which is thrilling as it relates to the growth of the sport. I'm obviously biased and say ours is the best, and certainly much the same way Children's Mercy Park was. It's really been sort of the standard bearer. So there are definitely others, but I think ours is the best.
Do you know how many this Middle America idea, right? The heart of America. That's important to the bid process, isn't it? I mean, that is a selling point, not just the flight time, but I mean that's a selling point in and of itself.
Unquestionably, and I think it's you look at it's not just what Kansas City means, but what it means to be a Midwesterner and the importance of the Midwest to the sport. I don't think it's a negative at all. I think it's very much a positive, and that's what we're proud to represent, as we go through the bid process. I mean, that's why I go back to, I feel like through that process, that pride has come through, and I think that matters. I mean, that's the soft tissue. It isn't just documentation. It's like, what does the culture really feel like? And I think representing the Midwest in that way is it's a big positive for us.
Let's say Kansas City selected. And what can people expect if a group stage is here?
That's a good. I think my answer to that is it would be difficult to explain what to expect because it would be so big, which is what's thrilling about it. You use the example of like it's having multiple Super Bowls in one place over the course of just a handful of days. I think it's one of the things that's also an interesting part of the storytelling, explaining to it because it is relatively far away and the magnitude is so great. It's almost hard to put it into words because there really isn't anything comparable other than having multiple Super Bowls in one place. But I think the main thing to expect is we will never have a greater opportunity to showcase our city. There isn't one, and that's thrilling.
So it'd be 4 nations coming to Kansas City and their fans.
Sure.
And enough fans to fill up Arrowhead Stadium.
Yeah.
So we're talking 75,000 fans in the stadium, and maybe more than that in Kansas City for a month, basically.
Yeah.
At least a few weeks, because all the group stage games would be in that city.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's really going to be like nothing we could ever even draw a parallel to, which is what's so exciting about it.
How about just transportation issues? Is that, I'm sure that's something that you all had to deal with and concentrate on, and just getting to and from Arrowhead, that sort of thing, getting around town. And
for sure.
So where do those ideas stand?
I think that's been a really important consideration, of course, and that's been a big focus among the executive committee on options around it. And I feel like we're going in a really positive direction there, but it's definitely been a multifaceted process between city orgs, civic orgs, chiefs, and that whole set. So that's very much in progress.
What does FIFA want to know about Kansas City?
That's a good question. A lot of it is, as Kathy was outlining, it's about less about sort of all infrastructure. What you just asked about, what obviously stadium details, training centers, training facilities, not just ours, but the other local training sites that we have as part of the bid, Park University, KU, all those details. Human rights. I mean, it's a pretty soup to nuts submission as it relates to anything you could possibly want to know about the city. And I think that the site visit part of it is, as I talked about the soft tissue, what is the feel, which I think is why that's exciting that we finally know when that's actually going to happen. And that's why we wanted to do something like this, to try to draw some additional attention to ourselves.
Is the bid process complete? The bidding process. Does FIFA have all the information it wants from Kansas City?
So, yes, FIFA has all of the information that they have requested to date. The bid process is not complete, and that's exactly how something of this scale works. Right now, Catherine just submitted our final human rights response on June 30th. That was the deadline. Now we're waiting on one-on-one meetings to go through stadium renovation, transportation, all those pieces. There may be follow-up and things from that. It's such an unknown, and none of us have ever worked on anything of this scale. I
was going to ask you that. I mean, you've done so many events. You've bid for and landed so many events. Is this the most unique one?
Yes.
And maybe in just terms of what is expected and the length of the process.
This by far, compared to everything we have hosted, bid on, worked through, this is the most unique and the most exciting, maybe not the most exciting, but the most time-consuming bid process. It took years to get where we are today. This didn't just happen. It took years to get here. Now we're years of bidding, and then once we're awarded, then it's years of preparation. So when you think of a 10-year bid process, there's no other sport or no other event that does that.
And we talked about the human rights aspect of this, but what other kind of things does FIFA want from Kansas City that maybe the Big 12 doesn't need, or the NFL draft?
International security plans. Big 12 doesn't really ask for that very often. The different opportunities around the games. Where will we host Fan Fest? Where will we host training camps? Where could base camps? Granted, different events we're already hosting work through hotels. There's not a transportation plan of this scale for anything else that we do. And just how the two states and two cities come together and support this is another really unique component to it. Funding and financing. This is a very unique bid for us as well. This is going to take money from not only locally and philanthropically, this is going to take state and federal money to support this event happening here. The return, of course, is enormous on that dollar, but there's no other event that we've had to do anything like this with a group like FIFA.
I asked Aaron this. I'll ask you, just if Kansas City lands a group stage, just what's your vision of what it would look like and what it would be like here? We were talking tens of thousands of people in Kansas City for a month, and
I'm probably for a couple months, really, when you think about it. Especially, say that we're a base camp for 1, 2, 3, 4 countries, 6 countries, who knows? But they would be here 6 to 8 weeks with their fans living here, traveling to and from games, whether that's here, LA, Canada, Mexico City, wherever. But then a vision is the city would host incredible watch parties throughout that time frame. So whether it's at Tice Park or where we know Union Station, right, there are different opportunities to engage and activate our city that we've never done before. So I kind of see the whole city turning World Cup colors. And whether that's flipping every kiosk to announce what matches and games are happening, or these wallscapes like this happening to welcome the world to our city, is my vision of turn the lights on, we're ready, and welcoming people from countries you may have never heard of.
Bigger than the Big 12 tournament, which we love.
Oh yeah, the Big 12 Super Bowl every year. Right. Yes, right. It is. Right. Yep. Yeah, it'd be a little different. There would be people from beyond Oklahoma and Texas in our city for the World Cup. Yes.
Hey, it's Blair. We have a special subscription offer for SportsBeat KC listeners, unlimited digital access to the Kansas City Star's award-winning sports coverage. Sign up now for 1 year of Sports Pass for access to all the sports news, features, and columns presented on the kansascity.com site, and it's only $30. That's a 40% savings off our regular rate. Your subscription will automatically renew after the initial term at $50 unless you tell us to cancel. Your subscription helps support the sports coverage of kansascity.com and the Kansas City Star, and that support has never been more important. Please visit kansascity.com/SportsBeatKC offer to get this special offer. And as always, thanks for listening.
I wonder what it means to you to be here in camp, what this Gold Cup could mean for your own progression as a player. And you've been linked, obviously, to a lot of moves to Italy. What do you think of that possibility and what it would mean to you to kind of take that next step as well? Thank you.
Yeah, it means everything for me. I think I grew up in the youth national team system, and your one goal when you go to youth camps is to make the men's national team. So for me, I took the full progression, and I'm happy to be here, and it's a really proud feeling that you get putting on the crest, and I'm happy to do it with the men's national team. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good experience for me. I think not many people get to represent their national team, and I'm doing it at such a young age, so it's a really special moment for me, and hopefully I can do well enough. And yeah, I think I'm ready for this moment, and in the end we want to win the trophy.
Next, we'll go to Sean Goodwin from the KC Star.
Thanks, Michael. Booze, how you doing?
Good.
Good. Hey, I know we chatted last week and whatnot, and you were talking about, the pride of playing for a national team and whatnot, but now you're finally there, you've had a couple of practices, just what's it been like with the rest of the boys, and how's it been different to a normal practice section, would you say, compared to Sports and KC?
Yeah, obviously, it's all the best players in the country. I think it's going to be a high level no matter what, and it's intense sessions, but it's something that I like. I want to get used to, and to be the best player you can be, you have to play against the best, and that's what's happening right now. Is we're working for spots, and we want to play, and we want to win in the end. So it's been really intense trainings, but it's something that I've been prepared for, and I've been working towards, and I'm just excited for the games to start, but the trainings have been really good, and I've seen a lot of talent that we have, and I'm glad I can fit in with them.
We'll go to Ryan Talmadge from Goal.com.
Hey, Gianluca, appreciate you taking the time. Just in some ways it feels like it's been a rapid rise for you, given your age and the records that you're setting kind of and whatnot, but it also feels like it's kind of been a long time coming in some ways, just because you're someone that people have kind of seen grow up and grow into yourself as a player. It's been 4 years since you signed with Sporting Kansas City, 2 years since you kind of broke up in MLS. Looking back at your road and the sacrifices you made to get to Kansas City and the work you've put in, how do you kind of come to grips with this opportunity and what it means as sort of the next step for you as a player?
Yeah, like you said, I think I've done a lot at a young age, and when I signed when I was 15, I always wanted to make my national team debut, and this is the next step for me, really. I think when you're 15, you think about just getting on the field and making your debut for your MLS team, and then a couple of years later, you're trying to get in the starting lineup and be a consistent starter. And now, I did that this year. Now my goal was to make the national team, and that's what happened. So I think this is it's a really big step for me. And I think my career, I've been really lucky with all these accomplishments at such a young age. I think I'm really lucky to have that happen. But I'm just excited for what's next for me, really. I'm happy to be here, and, I'm excited for the tournament and to get to the final. But, I think my next step is going to be even bigger, and I'm looking forward to it.
Next, we'll go to Joe Serrera.
Gianluca, good to talk to you again, as always, from Greensboro. What's your role going to be with this team? What has Greg Berhalter told you about what his expectations are for you, what kind of role you're going to be playing? And what do you want to get out of this tournament as a team and an individual? Yeah,
I think obviously I've been playing the midfield this whole, my whole career, really. So obviously we both see me in the midfield. If that's the 6 or the 8, that's I've been, practicing in both positions there. So, we'll see. But I think he just wants me to really show myself. I think, he called me up for a reason, and, I deserve the call up. And now it's time for me to show that he made the right decision and show everybody really that I can do it on a national level. So that's what I'm kind of looking forward as is making that next step and showing I can, not only do it in MLS, but do it at the highest level, and that's for your national team. So I'm looking forward for that, and hopefully he's looking forward for that and to call me into the future camps.
Next, we'll go to Ivis Galarcep from SBI Soccer.
Gianluca, this is your first camp with Greg Berhalter and the senior team, but there's always been talk in the past about the synergy between the senior team and youth teams, and I'm kind of curious, did your time with U17s help at all in terms of you kind of getting a sense or taste for the style of play that Greg wants to play? And in terms of your overall game, how much did Peter Vermes, or has Peter Vermes kind of helped you kind of appreciate and develop the defensive side of your game? Because you've been an attacking player from day one, but it seems like the defensive side of your game, you've really kind of strengthened that and balanced that out.
Yeah. I think from the youth national team, it's a little replica of the first team. Really, I think they try to build it to treat you as an adult and treat you as how it's going to be when you get to the men's national team. And obviously it's not as intense or as high level as the men's national team, but they try and it really helps you. And guys coming up from the youth teams, it's a smooth transition when you make it. So. That made it easy for me, and obviously I know some of the staff from other camps and everything, so that definitely made it a lot easier. And Peter has been great for me. I think he's been my coach my whole professional career, and he's been excellent for me. He's taught me more attacking wise, and especially this year he's helped me defensively. I've been playing the 6 a lot, and he's always been big on the defensive side of the game. And, I think that's something that I can improve on and still am trying to improve on. And, he this year especially, he's really worked with me on that and just, taught me how to keep my intensity up and always be focused on the game and be ready for anything. And that's something that I've been working on also, but he's been huge for that. And, obviously it's helped me out a lot. And, now I'm here and I can take what I learned from him to this camp.
We'll go to Brian Sciaretta from American Soccer Now.
Gianluca, thank you very much. And thank you, Michael. How much pressure does this team feel with keeping up the momentum left by the Nations League squad? It wasn't too much of an overlap of a roster. And what did you learn from watching that win over Mexico? What did it do for the program? And finally, how tough do you think it will be to crack that roster for World Cup qualifying? What kind of performance is it going to take from you and your teammates to really build a case to be part of those teams coming up later in the year?
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of pressure. There's always pressure when you play for your national team, especially when it's at home and you're playing into your home fields and everything. There's always going to be pressure. So I think everybody knows that, but I think we're trying to put that behind us and trying to just play our game. I think we're focused on making it to the final and winning, and that's what we're going to do. And I think coming off a big win in the Nations League, it shows that we can do it. And it may not be the same group and anything, but it just shows the passion that we're playing with now, and showing that we can do it. Especially there were a lot of young guys also on that field playing against a final like that. That's big. So it shows us that we can do it, and with the right amount of work and passion, we can do the same thing, and that's what we're going to try to do. And obviously it's going to be hard for anyone to make the World Cup qualifying roster. I think for me especially, it's my first camp. So I think I'm taking this as kind of a trial for that. I want to play well enough to where he has to call me into qualifying, and that's something that I'm focused on and one of the things that I'm trying to get out of this camp.
We'll go to Aaron Ladd.
Hey, appreciate the time here. You kind of talked about this being your first camp and a lot of things coming full circle and a lot of accomplishments at a very young age. What role does Kansas City play in that, and having this event happen kind of in your home backyard, training at the home facility and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think I've grown up here, so it's special to me. My first camp is in my pretty much hometown. Really, it's where I grew up. They taught me pretty much everything I know about soccer and taught me how to be an adult. Really, so I take pride, and it has a special place in my heart. So for me to be representing my country in my hometown, pretty much, it's special. And I don't think a lot of players aren't ever going to experience that, and I'm experiencing it at my first camp. So I'm pretty lucky in that sense, and I'm excited to kind of get out there on my home field and see the fans wearing national team jerseys instead of sporting jerseys. So something I'm looking forward to, and I'm excited to see it.
Sanjay, you'll be next.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Gianluca. Gianluca, this is obviously a big opportunity, but is it any different than you had expected before because of the ongoing transfer speculation? Is that distracting at all? Is it making it any tougher?
No, not really. I think I've kind of learned how to put that behind me. I think right now I'm focused on the Gold Cup, and that's that's how I always look at it. When I was at Kansas City, we were playing MLS games. That's what I was focused on. I think that stuff will figure itself out. I think I have people around me who can handle that for me, and I think my main focus is just on playing soccer, and right now I'm focused on the Gold Cup and playing as well as I can, and then after maybe I'll think about it more, and that's something my agent has to think about. But right now I'm focused on the next training and the next game, and that's where my head's at.
That'll do it for today. Thanks to our SportsBeat KC production staff of Derek Donovan, Beth Welsh, Monty Davis, Jeff Rosen, Chris Fickett, and Savannah Smith. Links to stories that were discussed on today's show can be found in the show notes and on kansascity.com. Hey, let me tell you about another deal. You can subscribe to Sports Pass for 99 cents a month. That's right, 99 pennies a month. Sports Pass is the online version of the Star Sports section. You get all the stories that appear in the print editions of the Star, plus additional stories that appear only on the website, and of course they appear first on kansascity.com. After 3 months, it auto-renews at $5.99 a month unless you cancel. How do you get it? You go to kansascity.com/sportspass2020. That's kansascity.com SportsPass2020. Do you want more than just sports coverage? Check out the entire Kansas City Star product. Sports, news, features, commentary, and analysis, the whole thing. You get all the stories written by my talented colleagues, plus additional national news, sports, and business coverage with the e-edition. The details for all of these deals can be found at account.kansascity.com/subscribe. And if you're having trouble hunting down any of the offers, you just send me an email, bkirkhoff@kcstar.com, and I will get you to the right place. So whether it's the Sports Pass or the full subscription, you're getting and supporting the best sports and news coverage in Kansas City and helping us produce programs like SportsBeat KC. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back on Tuesday with another episode talking about the Royals, the draft, the All-Star game, the Home Run Derby, all of it. Join us tomorrow. Thank you.